Hello, welcome to the Sunnydale Diaries, a podcast where I, Sean,
And I, Melanie.
watch and discuss every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and how the related themes of those episodes impact our lives. Today, we are discussing Season 3, Episode 21, Graduation Day, Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you are new to the podcast, welcome. You picked a good one to join on. And if you are returning, welcome back. If you like what you hear and or see, if you're watching on YouTube, please leave us a review or a rating. We got a comment recently on Reddit from Kimmy B325. She enjoys the podcast, likes hearing our stories and life experiences that we share at the beginning of each episode.
Thanks,
Um,
Jimmy.
I like telling them. I know it's not for everybody. You know, somebody else I think further on said they didn't like that, but you know, to each their own. People that have opinions. But she even said it further on. Like the show's been out for 20, 25, 26 years. Since where we are now, and people have heard it already, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have listened to other Buffy podcasts who were very focused on the story and the themes, and I like that we're different.
We are different, that's for sure.
That's what makes you special.
Somebody asked us, what are we going to do when we get through all these Buffy episodes? Will we do another podcast? I said, we've already gone through. We'll by that time, after season 7, I think everybody is going to know everything about us. We won't have any secrets.
I don't know. I mean, last week, or was it last? Yeah, last week you dropped that bomb about your band, Naked Salamis, and that has not come up once in the 12 years that I've known you. So
Yeah.
I think there's still more tucked away for us to uncover.
When you come visit me,
So
I'm going to have found those recordings and I'll play them for you.
I cannot wait.
Oh boy.
This one aired in May of '99, and I haven't checked in with you for a while. Do you recall around like where were you living? What were you doing in May of '99?
May of 99 is right before I left my first out of college job to go into my real IT job and start IT. So I was
Nice.
miserable at my job and I was ready to move on. Big
Okay.
changes were in head for young Melanie.
Nice.
How about you?
Cool. Let's see. So this would have been end of my junior year. So I had just started my first clinical internship rotation in hematology, where they basically used me, as unpaid labor,
Mm.
run all the morning CBCs every single morning. So it was almost like factory work. Like that's what it felt like. That's really what it felt like. Like I
Indentured
learned.
servitude.
I almost dropped out of the clinical lab science program
Oh
after that
wow.
rotation because I was like, "Is this really what I'm going to be doing now?"
Yeah.
Of course, it got better over time, and I left for different reasons in a few years. But yeah, that was a little tough. I ended up actually getting hired at the hospital and worked there full time 2 years. But yeah, that was a little rough.
Yeah.
So we're recording on Thursday, and Thursdays at work is when we do our team meetings every other week. We always start with an icebreaker. It's something I think
Mhm.
actually I started it like when we were a much smaller team a year and a half ago. And it's always something goofy. It's not like a serious icebreaker, kind of a thing. And whoever's facilitating the meeting picks it. And today's was, what is a goal you have for 2025? So I guess that one is a little
Oh.
hokey, but and of course, a lot of people did the usual like kind of resolution things, like work out more or
Yeah.
something. I didn't want to go with a standard answer, so I said, "Well, my friend and I have a podcast. It's been out for a little over a year, and we recently hit 10,000 downloads. Thank you again. And I want by this time next year to be at 25,000."
Ooh.
So then, like everybody starts talking at once. You have a podcast. What is it about? Blah, 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 blah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was a little taken aback. But one of the people knows about it, and I mentioned it's about Buffy, and she asked like what we're up to, and I said, well, we're filming the season 3 finale tonight, and then she said, is that the one where Angel dies? And I'm like, spoilers. And I'm not, and I wasn't the only one who said that. She's like, it's been out for 25 years. Doesn't matter.
I
And
know you've
then
been good about not spoiling for me, Sean.
it's tough.
And I
It's
think
tough.
that's tough for you. You spoil Doctor Who for me?
I did.
That
I
was early in
did.
our relationship.
Yeah, that was like definitely within our first year of knowing each other, but it was after Amy, Pond, and Rory were on, but they
Yeah.
weren't married yet. So
Oh.
oops, I spoiled it for people that want Doctor Who. And I just said something about like Amy and Rory's wedding, and you're like, I didn't know they get married. I felt so bad. But I mean, it's
You
hard
learn.
because well, yes, but I mean, it's again, this show has been out since 1997,
Mhm.
and it is tough. Like there have been times there are more characters we're going to meet, and some of them will go on to play some significant roles,
Yeah.
and not to just drop that person's name or someone put a comment on one of the socials, and it's not incredibly spoilery, but it was still a spoiler. So like I got to
Yeah.
text you like we got a nice comment, but don't read
You
it
are
yet.
good at that. Yes. Don't read this. Don't look at the screenshot when you're about to start the episode. Don't read the comments. Yeah. I
Uh,
appreciate it.
it's it's what I do.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I don't think I
You
told you
take
this.
good
I think it
care of
was
me.
I try. Tuesday night or Wednesday night, one of the hosts, Charlie of A Guy, a Girl, and a Buffy podcast, they're the ones who live in Georgia. He was doing a TikTok live, and it's like one of the ones where like it's not just like the host talking. Like if they invite you, you can like join, actually speak in the conversation, not just type. And I was on there for a little bit, and I got on. And he's like, "So is this Sean or is it Melanie? Because if it was you, it's going to be difficult." Because
Oh. Yeah.
that was fun. Um, Contest.
Yeah.
At this point, there is, I believe, less than a week to submit your entry for the 5x7x5 haiku contest, where you will need to submit a haiku related to Buffy season 3. Email it to us at thesunnydalediaries@gmail.com, and you will be in the running for a fabulous prize, the Wishverse Willow Hot Topic exclusive.
Exclusive.
I mean, I want it. So.
I know. I kind of wanted to buy it for myself too. She's got cleavage and everything, you guys.
Yeah, that's Vampire Willow. So get those entries in. All right, graduations.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah, how many? Yeah, we'll
I've
not
had
count
3 graduations
preschool.
now.
3 graduations. Did you
Yeah,
go to all 3?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um, my high school graduation, I graduated with a really big class. I think there were about almost 600 of us in my graduating class.
Mhm.
The only thing I remember is that I was in line and I had told one of my good friends, or he knew. Did I already tell this story? I don't know. That I had a big crush on this other guy that I had gone to school with since sixth grade, middle school.
Not
And he
sounding
was like, "You
familiar.
need to tell him. Just tell him." And so, so
I'm with
I'm
them.
waiting in line, and he came over to me in line. He's like, "Oh yeah, Michael told me that you needed to talk to me about something." And I was like, "Oh my god." And I did, and I told him I've had a crush on you for the last 4 years, and I just wanted you to know. And he said,
Aw.
"Oh, that's very sweet and flattering," and nothing happened.
But you told them. That
I
takes
did. I
guts.
told him. I saw him at the 10-year reunion, and he was so cute still, and but he was married. He is now. He and his wife are sex therapists in Tampa. He was a cutie
Interesting.
pie. He was a
All
cutie
right.
pie.
My high school graduation, the one thing that immediately comes to mind, I have a picture and I will try to post it, but I had really bad posture apparently. So like they call my name, I'm walking up there and I'm like hunched over, like practically like
Yeah.
this. And the
Oh,
picture that my sister took was me in the side profile. So
yeah.
I'm like, and from that point on, I make a concerted effort to stand up straight when I walk.
Yeah.
Somebody at one job told me that when I walk, my hands are bunched into fists and I look very angry.
Somebody told me that once too. I was standing and she was like, "Why are your hands bunched up like that?" I was like, "Because I'm anxious all the time."
Was it where we worked together? If it was, I understand.
Yes, but I think it was right before I got married to my ex-husband, and it was the
Okay.
lady that was going to be, officiating at our wedding, and she was like, "Melanie, your hands are so" I was like, "'Cause I know I shouldn't be marrying this person."
Again, you've
Yeah.
never brought that up before.
Oh, man.
All
Well,
right, we
good
need to
show.
talk about that. We need to talk about that when I come up there because you have never mentioned that to me before. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Um, college graduation. How about that? Your bachelor's graduation.
My bachelor's I think it was my bachelor's. Yes, my bachelor's graduation, again, I went to University of Florida, and they had 2 graduation sessions because there were just so many people graduating. And they had a really strict rule about you had to stay until the
Mm,
end, you know? And so my parents were divorced by that point, and so my dad, his parents and my brother were, like, up here in the stands somewhere. My mother and my best friend, who had graduated the semester before, they were over here. I had told them, "I'm not staying. I'm leaving. I'm gonna make an excuse and get out." And, uh, and they have pictures of this whole thing. I'll have to show you some of these pictures too. So after they did the College of Education, I was like, "Well, I'm leaving." And so I get up, we're all on the floor of the auditorium and everybody's up in the stands. And so, I get up and I walk back to the back, and, there's people at a table there, and I was like, "I have to go to the bathroom." And they're like, "Well, you have to leave your cap." This is how serious they were. "You have to leave your cap," because they know if you walk out, you're just gonna leave.
God, no,
And
yeah.
so I left my cap and I went out to the bathroom, and I'm freaking out because they all watched me get up, and they're all like making their way out because they think
Right.
they're meeting me outside. And so finally I come back in. I'm like, I gotta get my cap because they're gonna charge me. Now I'd be like, screw the cap, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm out of here. So I went back in and I was like, look, I gotta go. And they're like, "No, you can't go." And I said, "I have to go." And my brother at the time had broken his collarbone or something. I said, "My brother is up there and he's in like a full, like, cast thing. He can't sit here for 4 hours." And they're like, "Well, then he shouldn't have come." I was like, "He's not going to miss my graduation."
Right.
And they gave me a lot of guilt. And they were like, "You should be really ashamed of yourself," or something. They like
Oh
laid
my
it on thick. And I was
god.
like, "Okay." And I took my cap and I left.
I mean,
But it
is
really was.
didn't
It was like a 4 to 5 hour ordeal, and I was like, "Ridiculous." I'm
wow.
sorry to the people that were graduating after me that I didn't stay for your walk. But, yeah, the pictures are
I
funny. You
mean,
can see
didn't
me,
you have
like, there's a
to
picture of me
buy the
getting
cap and
up.
gown?
There's What's that?
Didn't you have to buy the cap and gown?
No, I think it was rented.
Ah, okay, so then
I think you
that's
gave
how
them
they get
some
you.
money. They gave you some money, and then you got your deposit back or something. I don't know.
Right,
But,
right,
yeah,
right.
there's a picture of me next to the table giving them my little story. And then
Nice.
afterwards, my parents' divorce was not a nice thing. It was pretty messy. And so I had to, take my pictures with my mom and my friend, and then I had to leave them and go take pictures of, with my dad and his family. And there's pictures that I guess my mom and my best friend stood behind a tree and like took pictures of me getting my pictures taken with my
Nice. I,
dad.
uh, I do not have that exciting of a story for my bachelor's.
No.
I was lucky that the more like that the health related schools were not part of the main campus graduation because
Yeah.
it was like you described. So it
Yeah.
was small and in an auditorium that wasn't gigantic. Hillary Clinton was our speaker.
Ooh.
So I have a picture of me and Hillary. That was cool.
Oh,
Um, I've never shown you that.
no, I don't think so.
See, again, you said we're going to
We're
run
just
out of
learning
stuff.
so much about each other.
And I think they started with the clinical lab class first. So we're all on stage and they're calling us one at a time. It's like employee clapping, and then they
Yeah.
get to me, and it was my sister, my dad, Mike was there, Trixie Sticks, and like three other friends, and they were like wooing at the top of their lungs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
That's
is
nice.
a good memory. Um, Pomp and Circumstance always makes me tear up. I don't know why. But the song they play, it always
Yeah.
makes me tear up when they play it. So I always get a little emotional at graduations.
Okay.
And then my master's one. So I graduated from USF in Tampa. Never set foot on the campus because I did everything online. So my graduation was the
Yeah.
first time I actually went to the campus.
Yeah.
Uh, Other than like when you and I went to the Sun Dome for the Fall Out Boy concert.
Awesome.
And so mileage wise, I think it's like 25 miles from where
Yeah.
I used to live in St. Pete. There was a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
It took us 2 hours to get there.
Oh, no.
Yes, yes. And I was getting anxious because I
Sure.
want to be there early, and so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's my
Because 'cause you're a
master's
Monica.
story. Yeah, we made it. We still have plenty of time, but
Right.
the same thing. They didn't want us to leave, but people were leaving as they got their diploma.
Yeah. I don't remember much about my master's degree.
Mm.
I know at one of them afterwards we went to lunch or something, and my step grandfather, I don't know, whatever, my grandmother's partner, was saying something about getting an education degree, and I wasn't going to make a lot of money. Nice, and I went on this huge rant about it wasn't. Man, I was brainwashed, is what I was. I was like, it's not about the money and da 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 da, and I gave a whole big speech about it, and yeah,
Well, good for you
it
for
is
being
about the money
passionate.
at some point. At some point, it's insulting what they pay teachers, and you know, whatever.
It
That's a different
absolutely
episode.
is. All right, you ready to get into one of the best episodes of Buffy?
Really? Wow, that's some big words. Okay, all right.
Let me rephrase that. You want to get into one of my favorite episodes of
One of
Buffy?
your favorite. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All
Yep.
right.
My prediction was it's a two-parter. It's going to end on a big cliffhanger where we think the mayor has achieved his goal and become a big, strong demon, and that Cordelia and Xander are going to come to a peace.
Some of that was
Yeah.
accurate.
You think that's accurate? I mean, I think Cordelia and Xander have kind of come to a little bit of a peace.
Yeah, that's the part I think is accurate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then the rest of it, I don't know. It was a little premature. This is an episode that was written and directed by Joss.
Yes. You
That's right.
didn't watch part two, right?
No, you told me not to.
Okay, I know, but I thought maybe you were like dying from the cliffhanger that you just had to know what happened.
No.
There. Did you look at the trivia for this question for this episode?
I did look at the IMDb trivia.
Okay, all right, we'll talk about it at the end then. There's a reason
Okay.
why
All
we'll talk
right.
about it at the end.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So previously on Faith is Evil.
Previously on the same stuff we've covered before.
Yeah. Ascension, the Jackal knife, and Angels leaving after the Ascension.
Right. Right. We open on graduation prep, caps and gowns, which was kind of funny to me. Like you see people like trying on their caps. I don't remember, I remember they were just like, here's your cap.
Yeah, caps, yes, like gowns. I remember getting measured for my high school gown.
I don't
I
remember that.
don't remember what they did for either of my college ones.
Yeah.
There's a maroon. So
Yeah.
I like the. I mean, but we've seen that color before, like with their sports uniforms and stuff.
Hmm.
What were your colors, if you remember?
I think the same. High school was blue,
Same.
blue and white,
Yeah.
like a royal blue. I think also for University of Florida it was blue because they
Okay.
were orange and
Yeah.
blue.
Yep.
It's a good color.
Mhm.
They weren't
Yeah.
teal.
Right. Yeah, like Cordelia was. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine high school. The boys were blue. The girls were white. Sexist.
What?
Yeah. Um, my bachelor's was black and gold, and then USF for my master's black. And the tassel was green.
Maybe I was dark blue. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the pictures now. It was so long ago, Sean.
I get it. I get it.
Because now I'm thinking
I mean,
at least my master's was dark blue or black. I'll have to go back and look.
I'm coming up on my 30th high school reunion in 2 years, so I get it.
Holy moly! Are you gonna go?
I haven't gotten any of them. No.
Oh, you haven't.
Now, I don't. We've talked about moving, and if we are up in the Northeast, there's a stronger chance,
Yeah,
but probably not.
you're not gonna travel for
If I
Florida.
happen to be on Long Island, like visiting my sister, I would go.
So that
But I,
happened with my mom. She just happened to be in Massachusetts on vacation and found out her high school 50th reunion was that week or
uh,
weekend.
did she
And so
go?
she went. Yeah, she did. And she had a great time.
That's
And
good.
yeah, isn't that crazy? So yeah, if it happens like that, you should go.
Yeah, yeah. So Xander and Cordelia are there, as you mentioned. Cordelia wanted teal, which I've never. No, teal would not work for
No,
graduation.
no, no, no.
She makes a
Um,
little. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
She makes a little snarky comment about Xander's clothes, which I mean we've talked a lot about Xander's wardrobe, but it's not mean like the previous
It's
episodes.
not venomous, right? I did look up. I was curious about his sweater.
Hmm.
Um, because there was a mention of it in the trivia for this episode, and so I looked up that brand of sweater. I don't remember the name of it. It starts with a J. It's it's like a nice sweater, but it's kind of ratty too
Yeah.
at the same time. But it's apparently it's a vintage sweater. And
Hmm.
so that got me curious about, how we were always talking about their outfits and the fashion in this show. And so I did a little digging and I found this website called Wear Your TV or something like that. And they go through
Hmm.
all the different shows, whatever. So I found for Buffy, and they had, every season, and they pick things out like Willow's red overalls are vintage Dickies, or her red sneakers, her orange sneakers, or this or that. And so, but I'm looking at it and it's like, um, oh, the red and green shirt that Xander was wearing, the really loud red and green shirt he was wearing an episode or two ago,
Yeah.
Vivian Westwood,
Wow.
right? And like something else I was looking at, one of Cordy's skirts, I think, Dolce and Gabbana. It's all
Mm.
like high end, super high end stuff. Like no
Huh.
high schooler is going to be wearing.
Well, it is California. Keep that in
It's
mind.
California, but Xander's parents
Yes. Yeah.
are
There's not.
neglectful, and they're not going to be buying him Vivian
Yeah.
Westwood. So
Yep.
because I was excited, I saw that shirt, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm buying that for Sean if I could find it." But yeah, when I saw Vivian Westwood, I was like, "No, I don't think I'm going to
No,
be
I'm
able
not.
to afford vintage Vivian Westwood."
Oh, that's
Funny though.
cool. I'm
But
gonna have to check that site out.
this vintage sweater. Let me see if I can look it up real fast. Jersild, Jersild, Jersild. There's quite a few Jersild sweaters on this show. I don't know anything about that brand. If you guys do, drop us a line, let us know. What's the deal with this Jersild sweaters? Is it a thing? Was it a thing? I never heard of it.
Yeah. Interesting. See,
Anyway,
and this is why we did the podcast. You do little tidbits like that. I love stuff like that.
fashion commentary.
So yeah, they chat and like you said, it's not venomous.
No.
It's actually a good conversation. And
Yeah.
then we move a little bit down the hallway by the stairwell. Harmony and Willow are signing each other's yearbooks.
Yep. And they're both being very sweet to each other.
Yeah. Do you still have your yearbook?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
I
on
have
the
mine.
yearbook staff. We talked about this. So,
That's right.
yeah,
Yep, yep,
I do, of
yep.
course.
Hmm. Were you the type that's like, anybody who wants to sign it, sign it? Like, were you like Melissa Joan Hart and can't hardly wait, or
No, no, just
you?
my friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
friends and some teachers, I think.
Yep. Okay. So they're signing, like you said, being polite, and then Harmony walks away, and Buffy walks up. And,
Yeah.
don't you hate her? Yes, with a fiery vengeance, vacuous tramp.
It was funny. And then yeah, Buffy's like it's like the whole school is in the 60s. Yeah, it's like everybody's feeling very nostalgic and emotional about leaving school.
You know what else could have happened in the '60s if they were together?
What?
Joyce and Giles doing it.
That's right. Twice.
Yeah, Willow is getting very nostalgic. She misses PE, which no, sorry, never would happen. Um, Buffy's considering not even going to graduation.
Yeah. She's not
Willow's getting
feeling it.
nostalgic. No, Willow is getting nostalgic about the soda machine. I just
That was
I love the way she delivers the line. I push you for root beer. You give me Coke.
Yep.
I, I
Yeah.
just love
Wistful.
Willow.
Wistful.
Yeah, yeah,
And then we find out the mayor is going to be their commencement speaker.
yeah.
I don't remember who my commencement speakers were. I think Danny Werfel, the football player, spoke at my bachelor's degree.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah,
Exciting.
the only one I remember is, I mean, Hillary Clinton's kind of hard to forget.
Yeah, sure, of course. Some old guy's apartment. Old guy with artifacts apartment. There's a knock at the door and it's Faith. And we find out this is Professor Lester Worth.
Hmm.
He's some kind of a professor. We don't know yet what kind. And she comes in and she's like, "Oh, yeah, the mayor is a big fan of your research." And then she pulls out another big knife and says, "Sorry, the boss wants you killed." And he's like, "I'll scream."
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, who wouldn't? Yeah. And then it's kind of funny how they like pan away while she stabs him because we don't want to see
Yeah,
that violence on TV. And
right,
then we pan over to a picture of a volcano, which we don't know yet what that's about, but I was like, oh, that's going to come into play later.
right. I thought
Right?
it was funny that he's like, come back during office hours. Like, do students normally show up at professors'
At your
apartments?
door. Yeah.
I did have an ew moment when he's like, call me Lester. I was like,
I know.
oh.
I know. I know. And the look on his face, I was like, oh, no, no, it's not going that way. No. I know.
The actor, I looked him up because he sounded familiar. Hal Robinson, not to be confused with Jack Robinson, but
Hmm.
just your usual '90s Law and Order
I say Law
desktop.
and Order credits, right? Then we're at Faith's apartment with the Faith and the mayor.
Mhm.
And she's off in another room, and he's tidying up her apartment, with his anal retentiveness.
Yep,
Um, she comes out wearing a Buffy dress,
yep.
pastel pink,
Hey,
kind of ruffly dress. Yeah, very girly. And she's like, "It's not like this isn't me." But he's, "Oh, you look beautiful." Um, do you ever is that a thing for guys? Like, do you put on something and you're like, "This is totally not me."
oh, absolutely.
Like, definitely, yeah, okay. When I lived in California, there was this very trendy dress. It was like an off-white, um, but it was like all lace. And I loved this dress. I just every time I saw it, I was like, I love this dress. I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't gonna look good on me, but I put it on and I was like, oh no. Oh
My,
no.
my in like early high school, like ninth, 10th grade, my aunt would always get me like tracksuits, like
Yeah.
Nike tracksuits,
Yes.
and I put it on, and I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
No.
So, yeah, no, it happens
Yeah.
to guys.
Yeah, okay. So we feel what you're feeling, Dushku.
Yeah. He as he sees her in the dress after she said, "I feel wicked stupid in it." He said, "No father could be prouder."
Hmm.
Uh, uh,
Yeah.
so something I noticed. So I was watching the credits because I thought this was written and directed by Mr. Whedon, but I couldn't remember. And as they're showing, like the main cast in like the credits that repeat every week, and then right after that they like flash up a couple of names like once we get back into the story, and it was like Christine Sutherland for Joyce and a couple of other ones, and then you sometimes see like and Eliza Dushku as Faith, Armin
Okay.
Shimmerman as Principal Snyder, and I just wonder why that is. Like, why not Christine Sutherland as Joyce? Just curious if you knew.
You mean having them as instead of just having them
Just
as
having
part
the
of the main
actress
cast?
name, yeah.
That's gotta be I mean, I don't know. I would guess that it's some kind of contractual thing, like,
Mhm.
based on screen time or line number of lines or something. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe
if you know,
somebody
let us
listening can who knows more about show business than we do can enlighten us.
know. Yeah. And then that scene ends with him saying, "I'll buy you an icy."
I know he really is like a dad,
Yeah,
sick and twisted dad, but he
yes.
is very much a dad figure for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she leans into it, man. She's like she gets excited. Ooh, I see. Ooh. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So then let's see. We're at school.
Yep, outdoors.
Willow is riding in her Schwinn with the high handlebars.
Yep.
Cute. And Percy meets her there, and he's very excited because he got a B minus on his history paper. So all the
I'm like
tutoring
a
is paid off.
scholar. I'm a
Yeah,
scholar.
that's right. He's very grateful. When Oz walks up, I wasn't sure. Like he had this look on his face, like he was kind of possessive about her. I don't know if I was reading that right.
No, I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also noticed his hair is finally not that yellow. I don't know if this is
Yes.
the first episode where it's not that yellow, but it's like a more natural brown red now.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a quick little throwback with Percy to Doppelgangland. When he mentioned, basically, thanks for kicking my ass at the
Yeah.
Bronze.
And she goes, "Well, Percy, that was for
No,
your own good. Don't even bother. Don't go there." Um, and so then Willow and Oz are kind of talking, and she says, "We need to find a spell or something to stop the ascension." Okay, so that's going to be their focus.
right.
And then we are in Mr. Miller's class.
Oh, I didn't see
And
the name.
yeah, we are in Mr. Miller's class, and he is like, "You guys, I know you took your finals. Your time is short. You're ready for this is a class, and we are all going to participate." Mr. Harris, and then he says E, and it turns out they're playing Hangman. That's pretty funny. So Mr. Miller is played by actor James Lurie, who was in a TV movie called Tutor Pimp.
Ah, that's
Oh,
what it is. Okay.
Tutor Pimp. Ugh.
So was he?
And
So he was a. So was he the tutor pimp?
yes,
Okay. Huh.
um, he it's just said something about the summary said he gets two unlikely women into a college, so I'm assuming they are hookers. He also had a lot of narrator roles in different things, and so I was like, oh, he must have a good voice. And yes, based on this classroom, what he was, when he was talking in the classroom, he does have a very good narrator voice.
Interesting.
And so while he's playing hangman with the class, Xander and Anya are having a conversation at full voice like
Oh,
this.
all you.
Like, uh, like what? Not
Yeah, it
even
was
trying to whisper.
again. Like I remember, like when we that was in Bad Girls when Buffy was talking to Willow and Xander during the test, and I was getting anxious. I was getting anxiety again because, like, you're in a classroom. Lower your voice.
I feel like that's how people talk in movie theaters now. There's no whispering. People have
No.
lost the art of the whisper, I think.
Yep.
Um, so anyway, Anya is kind of talking to Xander about she wants to go out with him again. And
Hmm.
she's like, maybe, we could do some entertainment thing. Maybe a sports.
Men like
Men like
sports.
sports.
They and Xander's like, yes, they eat of the beef. They like the sport, and they enjoy to look at the bosoms.
That's right. That's right.
And
She's
then we find
trying.
out, yeah, we find out that she survived an ascension.
Yeah, well, we don't know that yet, but he does mention the ascension. Her eyes go really wide, and then you're like, "Oh, what?" But yeah, um, then we're back in the library, and Buffy's got the Sunnydale Press up, and
Yep.
the headline: "Professor murdered." And of course, Buffy knows right away who did it. Um, and then Giles and Wesley are fencing.
Did you call in your husband?
Fun. Why? Why are they? They're not. Don't want to train. This is just What do you want to
They're,
do?
they're British.
Well, yeah, they're British, so we'll fence.
Did
My
you?
my
Did,
husband my husband is a fencer.
yeah, did you call him in?
No, I'm sure he'll be very excited though when he hears us talking about it.
Okay.
Although he will be upset to know that they were not wearing correct fencing gear. They didn't have on the apron or the headgear or anything. They just had the epes. Epes?
Mhm.
He'll tell me.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
a
I
saber.
was gonna.
I don't know if it
I
was
was
an
like,
epee or saber, and I'm sure he'll tell me that too.
yeah. Isn't there a
Um,
third one? Is there a foil, or am I making that up?
there's a foil.
Okay.
I don't know if that's different. Again, we'll bring him in.
Okay.
Wait, let me see if he'll come in. Hang on. Let me here. I'll knock on. Like this is what we used to do in our dorm room when our suite mates got a call.
We have been summoned.
All right. So here is my fencing expert, Drew. Okay. So there was a scene in Buffy where Giles and Wesley are fencing in the middle of the library. Um, and we're not sure what kind of a blade they're using. Weapon. Can you explain to us the difference between an epee? Is that right? Epee?
Yes.
Foil and a saber.
Sure. How much time you got?
We got 30 seconds.
Oh, no, I can't do that in 30. Okay, so fencing, there are, like you say, there are three primary weapons in Olympic fencing.
Okay.
Foil and epee are point only weapons, meaning you score only with the point of the weapon. Saber is an edge weapon, so there's a blade.
Okay, gotcha. This was not that.
Okay, so it was either foil or epee. Then.
Okay.
Okay. So the biggest difference between foil and epee is the rules of who gets the point when both people hit at the same time.
But they look the same.
No, they're. I mean, if you look at them up close, there's very differences. There are big differences, but if you're watching on a YouTube video, you may or may not spot it. With epee, targets anywhere on the body, and the rule is whoever hits first wins.
Okay.
Foil, the target is what would be considered a deadly blow back when you were training for rapier duels, is really where it came from. So basically, the torso. So no arms, no legs,
Got it.
and no head. Even though head would be a deadly blow.
Okay.
Back before they had good masks and stuff, they just decided it was bad form to encourage people to hit each other in the face.
3 hours later.
Okay.
So the head was not target.
Okay.
And the other difference is that it doesn't necessarily matter who hits exactly first. It matters who has what's called right of way. And the idea is, Melanie, if you and I are fencing, and I have started an attack,
Yes.
and if you stick your blade out and hit me in the chest, and I hit you,
Yes.
then I get the point.
Interesting.
Because the idea is your highest priority is to defend yourself against somebody who is trying to attack you.
Mm.
Whereas epee, it just matters who hits first blood, which is what a lot of the early duels were. But foil was more about, okay, I'm really trying to not get hurt while I'm doing this. So if somebody's trying to hit me, my highest priority has to be to defend myself.
Okay.
All
I have
right.
no idea what they were doing, what they
I
were
texted.
using.
Yeah, it's hard to say from this specific image, but it because saber, the actual weapon, the grip has a bell guard that goes around the hand, which is kind of what I'm seeing in that picture.
Right.
But the epee, the bell guards, it doesn't go completely around the hand. It's just kind of a half circle, and foil, it's a little smaller than that.
Okay.
But most TV and movie based fencing stuff not terribly accurate anyway. So
Right.
especially the fact they're doing it without a mask on,
Right.
that's bad form.
Yeah.
Bad
In the middle of
form.
the
So
library.
yeah, for Sunnydale Diaries viewers, don't fence without your masks. It's a good way to lose an eye. You don't want to do that.
You poke your eye out.
Yeah, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Thank you.
Okay, am I done?
Thank
You're
you,
done.
Chris.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So there you have it. So anyway, the funny part to me about this is that Giles is kind of standing there like
Whatever.
and once again Wesley is like full bore trying to assert himself and physically and mentally and not doing so well. They need to figure out the motive for killing Professor what was his name? Professor Lester. And that's what I wrote. Wesley is trying again to be in charge and is, as usual, is a step behind and is just seeming foolish. He's kind of like comic relief, isn't he?
Yeah, at this point he is. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I said Giles seems so relaxed and casual these days compared to him.
Yep.
He's breezy. Xander and Anya walk in, and that's when we find out truly that she has witnessed an ascension. And she talks about it happened 800 years ago in the Kraskov valleys in the Urals, which the Urals are in Russia. I did not find anything about Kraskov valleys, though.
Okay.
A sorcerer became the embodiment of the demon Lohesh and decimated the village,
Yep. And Lohesh was a four-winged soul killer.
which is what my ex-boyfriend refers to me as.
I thought it was interesting. Before they came in, Buffy made a comment that she can't kill Faith.
Yes.
It was in passing, but I know what's going to happen, so I recorded that.
We'll see. We'll see. So then we also find out, this was news, that the demons that are walking the earth are tainted because they're part human, but a pure demon is different. And then they say, well, how? And they say, for one thing, they're way bigger. We don't find out otherwise, any other ways, but that's the big way we know. Which was interesting. I thought demons were demons.
You just keep learning things.
I know. It's educational.
Outside the school, the mayor and Snyder are reviewing the graduation setup.
Yeah.
They already have all the chairs out and how how the ceremony is going to work. And Mayor compliments Snyder on his job. Sunnydale owes you a debt.
So does Snyder know what is the mayor is and what he's going to do? He can't know everything, right? He's just like a pawn,
That's a good way to describe it. I
right?
don't
He
think
just
he.
knows he's very powerful.
But I don't think he knows that he's trying to ascend and is invulnerable. Any of that stuff. I don't think he's clued
Do you,
in at all.
do you think he knows that he's been around for 100 years or whatever?
I don't think so.
But he does know about the Hellmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows there's supernatural stuff going on.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And still he seems to be more worried about drugs in his school, which is crazy. So then we go back to Anya, and she says she doesn't think the mayor is Lohesh.
Mm-hmm.
that he seems different. And
Mhm.
what about those spiders? And what about the Gravlocks?
I forgot that there was the Gravlox joke in this episode when I suggested it last
Oh, that's
episode.
funny.
I'm like, they should make a pun like Gravlox. I know they
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the mayor walks in.
Mhm.
Oh, and there's really like dramatic music, and it's like this big tense moment.
Yep.
And
Then Buffy gives one of her quips, and then he laughs. He's like, "I'm gonna eat her."
that's right. Yeah. And then
And
Giles sinks the sword into his chest. He's just
yeah,
like, "Ah,
does nothing.
yeah,
He
yeah,
pulls it out. He wipes it off with a handkerchief, which
yeah."
handkerchiefs are just gross. Um, he doesn't actually wipe anything off of it. It's completely
I know,
clean.
I know. Yeah,
Which I guess it's possible that like he can't even bleed. Like it could just like go into him and heal immediately. So
yeah.
okay, I'll give him some leeway with that.
Um, and then he leaves.
Hmm.
And then we're in the hallway, and Xander is trying to get Anya to help them, but Anya's like, "I'm booking it. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Um, and you should be too. You should run. And then this was a little funny more moment when Cordelia comes in and she's like, "What's up?" And Xander says, "Well, the mayor's going to kill us all at graduation." She's like, "Oh, okay. Are you going to
You
fifth
go
period?"
to
Nope. Okay. We go now to Joyce and Buffy's house.
hmm
And Joyce finds Buffy packing and assumes she's running away, but no, she's
running
packing Joyce's stuff.
away.
And this is another episode of Buffy is going to play the adult
Yep.
and speak rationally to her mother and be like, "You can't be here," you
Yeah.
know. And Joyce is like, "I can't leave you," and she's like, "You're gonna get me killed if you stay," and she's
Yep.
right, because she'll
hmm
be too worried about Joyce and
Yep.
she can't focus if Joyce is there.
hmm I
Um,
did. I laughed when Joyce was like, "What is some terrible demon going to attack the school?" And Buffy's just looking at her like,
She's like, "Oh." I laughed when Joyce is like, "Oh, based on everything that's happened, maybe I should have sent you to another school." And I was like, says every Sunnydale parent.
"Yes,
And yet none of them have taken their kids out of the school.
I know, I know."
We cut to Willow and Oz doing research for spells.
hmm
They're having trouble finding one. And Willow is feeling insecure and saying, I'm no witch. I can't even turn Amy back to from rat. Poor Amy is still a rat.
Yep.
Oh my god. They're saving a ton on casting
Yes. Yep.
by keeping
Uh,
her
she,
a rat.
she's got a nice little habit trail.
Yeah. And then, Willow is freaking out and Oz is just being Oz and she's getting upset with him for being like that. She says, you're being ironic detachment guy. We're all gonna die. And he's like, "Well, do you want me to panic?" And she says, "Yes, yes." And so he like lunges at her and kisses her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm panicking." That's not panicking.
No,
I mean,
but
it's an outburst of emotion, I suppose.
yep. I
And
love
then
him.
and then it's, implied that they're going to do it, which is good because you don't know how many chances you're going to get to do it
Yeah, very
after
true.
graduation. Buffy is at Lester's apartment checking things out. An angel comes in, trips through the door.
Sly, sneaky guy.
Yeah. Giles asked him to go and back her up. Buffy doesn't seem pleased with that. But she did find a report on the professor's excavation of a bed, and he was a volcanologist.
Yeah, a
Um,
volcanoologist.
volcanologist, is that what? Yeah.
So says the Northwestern accepted student.
Yes. Buffy doesn't want his help, and they argue all the way out into the middle of the street. I didn't take any more notes except for that. I think I even put yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
All I wrote was that he was carrying the box with the professor stuff. He tells her, just because I'm not acting like a brat. And it's
He
like,
does say that.
ooh.
I know. Yeah.
And then she
Right.
said, I can't have you in my life when I'm trying to move on. And as you say, move on, an arrow comes and goes right
Shoot.
through him.
Yep. Again, that old crossbow. Man, season 3 is the season of the crossbow.
Were you surprised? Did you make a face? Were you like, oh,
I think I did. I think I
I
might have
can't.
gasped. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
I like how they shot it because it's Faith up above the movie theater, the Sun Cinema.
yeah.
So standing behind the sun, so the sun got him. I thought that was cool.
All right, that's really a reach, Sean, but okay.
I guarantee you, if you Google stuff about this episode, lots of people have said that.
Oh man. Okay. All right. He Oh, and then the demon she's with says, "You didn't get him in the heart though." And she says, I wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
So we're at the library and they take the arrow out.
Ouch.
Uh, yeah. And then Wesley is doing more research on Lester's work and finds that there was something about a volcano bed in Kauai, and they found a carcass underneath, and that the professor thought maybe it was a dinosaur, but no, it's probably a demon.
Hmm.
Um, and then Giles makes the or assumes or predicts that the mayor, since this demon dinosaur guy is dead underground, that if the mayor ascends to become that demon, he'll be vulnerable,
Yep.
right? And then at the same time, Angel tries to get up, but he collapses to the floor, and it turns out that the um, arrow was poisoned.
Yeah. They'll have to
Or
run some tests.
yeah, they'll run some tests. Yep. So and then I just wrote, "Yep, she lost the V card." At least she
What,
didn't die a virgin.
right before that, though, Wesley said he's going to contact the council about this and see if they can help.
Right, right.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Willow is.
so Willow and Oz are laying in bed post coital bliss in their moment of pure happiness.
Ooh.
Yeah, Oz with his completely bare, childlike chest. um, Willow says she feels different. um, the phone rings, and she's like, "Hello, but we gotta go."
I timed it. I broke out the stopwatch. 2.92 seconds after she said hello before she hung up. So I don't know.
What could they possibly have said to her?
uh,
"What? I need to talk to you now." Click.
Angel's
I don't know.
dying.
Yeah. It
It
was funny.
was very, very fast.
Yes. Um. Now we're back at the mayor's office with the box of spiders.
Hmm.
Faith comes in to deliver the good news that Angel is down. What are we gonna do next? And he says he's got to do the ritual of Gavrock and eat some of the spiders.
Well, he
And
says
she says
ingest.
again, "You're wicked." What'd she say? "You're wicked gross" or something like that. She
Yeah.
said
And when
wicked
he
a couple
said,
times in this episode.
yeah, there was a lot. Clearly, they're like focusing on the Boston.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so he said, yeah, I had to ingest some of those. And she's like, ingest? What does that mean? He's like,
Yeah.
eat.
If she was going to school, she might know that.
Yes, you're right.
Um, calls her his little firecracker, and she again yada 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 has some backstory about how that's what her mom used to call her.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What can I do? I need to do something. Am I gonna fight more?" She's real revved up.
Who can I
Um,
kill?
yeah, 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 yeah. And he's like, "Just go get some rest." Now we're back at school. It's nighttime. We're in the science lab.
Uh,
Willow is sending Xander off to the magic shop for supplies. And he's like, I don't have any money. And she's like, just tell him it's for me. Like
apparently
she's
she's
got a tab or something.
yeah, yeah. Oz
um,
is fiddling in the foreground with a microscope, and I rewound a couple of times. I can't tell for sure. there's not anything on that microscope stage. I'm like, is there a slide? I'm pretty sure there was absolutely nothing on that.
He's a tech
And if
guy.
somebody
He's a tech guy. He's not a biologist.
give him a prop slide to look at something. Ugh.
They don't have the budget for prop slides. That's season 5. Okay, Anya comes in and she's just had to see Xander and try and convince him to go with her.
Mhm.
She says she's got feelings for him. She doesn't understand it. She feels like she wants to throw up.
and,
He
he,
says,
and he
I'm sorry I give
apologizes.
you the Barfy feelings.
Yeah, but he's not going, and
He's not
but he's
going.
still disturbed. Yeah,
I have friends. I'm not leaving them. And she doesn't get it. And
yeah.
then she's like, fine, I hope you die. Wait, aren't we going to kiss?
I love Anya. I really do.
um, Buffy is at the mansion at Angel's bedside, where he's definitely not breathing hard while he's in pain.
He's very moist. He's very
It's
wet.
that he is very wet.
For the rest
Um,
of the episode, I will referring to him as Swangel. It's a combination of sweaty and angel.
okay. Swangelus. Wesley comes in and he says that the council couldn't/wouldn't help Angel. They have a policy. Can't go against policy.
Freaking council.
We know this, right? Freaking council. And then he's trying to tell her your orders, Buffy, and she's like, I'm not following their orders anymore. I'm done.
She is
Um,
resolved.
yeah. And then he does make a good point, and he's like, they're doing this as a distraction. You need to focus on the ascension. This is just to take you away from that, and she's not listening. Buffy then leaves, and she's going to go help the others.
Mm-hmm. She said to him, "I'm watching my lover die," and I was thinking, what would have happened if he just says in his little accent, "ex-lover"? I think he might be dead.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. Yeah,
and I liked when he said, "This is mutiny," and she said, "I like to think of it as graduation." Because really,
yeah, yeah,
what is the council doing? What has the council done
yeah.
in the last 3 years besides drug her and almost get her killed?
Right, right, right. And then she's like, "Get a job." Yeah. Willow has figured out the poison. It's called Killer of the Dead, and it's used to kill vampires
Hmm.
specifically.
Yep.
There's only 1 or 2 vague accounts of it being cured. The only way is to drain the blood of a slayer, which I momentarily forgot that there were 2. And I was like, oh my God, Buffy, she's going to have to drain Buffy. He's
Uh-oh.
not going to
That's
do
not
that.
good.
But she's like, no, I'll get Faith. And I was like, oh yeah, that's convenient. So,
Xander's line of "Come on, guys, the suspense is killing Angel."
yeah, that was good. Now we're looking for Faith. Buffy says it's time for the confrontation. She's ready to take her down. She's going to kill Faith. And then we have a little montage of prep and Angel sweating and Faith being her badass, self.
Yeah. Buffy grabbed the jackal knife from the library
Mhm.
cage.
We're at Faith's apartment now, where there's, the badass apartment. She's got the rock music playing, looking at some comics, eating
Eating
Twizzlers
Twizzlers.
like a badass. Actually, sucking on a Twizzler.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, whatever. To each his own.
It's wicked
Buffy
delicious.
comes in. Buffy enters wearing her ass-kicking clothes.
That is an iconic Buffy outfit.
Yeah. All right.
Did I
The
did I
red
send
leather
you?
pants.
Yeah. Did I send you the Buffy action figure of her
You
in that?
did. You
I
did.
had I owned that when I used to have a lot more Buffy memorabilia.
Yeah.
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 Iconic.
They have the face-off in the living room, which is, luckily very big, a good place to have a little fight.
Yep.
Perfect. And then their stunt doubles have a fight. And the stunt
I
doubles, again, are so obvious in this fight scene. And the
I saw
ensuing
it.
fight on the roof, where you can
Yeah.
see the mats they're fighting on.
Oh,
I
really? I didn't notice
oh
that. I saw the
yeah,
faces,
the
but I did
bouncy
not see
balls.
the
Yep,
mask.
yep.
Okay. Hmm.
There's our plate glass moment of the week when they crash out of the apartment onto the roof.
Yeah.
Awesome. When they go through the window, Buffy slaps a handcuff onto her wrist and Faith's wrist.
Yeah. I forgot about that part.
Really smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of
Uh,
all that, we cut back to Swangel, who's like Buffy, and Willow and Oz are just looking at him like, "Oh, sucks to be you."
well, what else can
Over.
they do? They can't do
No, I agree.
anything,
You can
right?
sponge his head.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd do
We back at the library. We learn about the legend of Olukai from Kauai, and Giles makes the leap that this might be a bastardization of Alvican, another demon, and of course Giles has a book,
of course.
and then Xander says, "Boy, it's a good thing nobody's ever wanted to check out any of these books, huh?"
Not wrong.
True. They find the picture, and it's like a triple fold out to show how big he is.
It's a centerfold of the demon.
Yeah. Xander says we're gonna need a bigger boat. And then we cut to the mayor eating the last of the spiders, spider legs out of his mouth.
A little handkerchief bib.
Yeah. He's got a demon there watching him. And he can feel the changes already. And he can feel his organs moving.
You know. Plus, a lot of fiber. And
They're
what's
high
the
in
point of
fiber.
being a mortal demon if you're not regular?
That's
I
right.
get it.
He's
Yeah.
so white. He's so white. Then the other lackey demon comes in and tells them there's trouble at Faith's. Then we're still fighting on the rooftop, and she gets Faith in the abdomen.
Yep. Faith, falls or jumps over the ledge, lands on a truck full of pallets, drives off,
She would
and
have
Buffy
died
just
from that. She would have died from that.
she okay. I would
That
agree with
was
you
high
if
enough. That was high enough. She's already injured. She's got internal injuries. She's
are you
landing
done?
on wood. It's not even like she dove into a you know, trash bag filled something truck.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
She's the Slayer.
Okay. All right. All right. To be
Uh,
continued.
so picture it. Sells in New
Sicily.
York, May '99.
Yes.
This is my season. We've discussed it before. Like, this is the first season I
Yes.
watched fully.
Yes.
I'm sitting there watching. I'm so excited
Yes.
to start part two. An hour before part two was supposed to air, WB made the decision to pull it because of some violent events that occur. And it did not air until July.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
What did they do? They just showed reruns until
Mhm.
July? Oh
Well,
man.
no, the night that part two was supposed to air, they showed a rerun because they made the decision an hour before to pull it. And
Yeah.
then,
Wow, man.
so this is why I asked that we not do parts one and two together because I want you to feel a
You want me
little
to
bit. And I
suffer
know,
like you did?
I mean, it's only a few
I don't think I'm
days,
gonna
but
suffer like you did, but
no,
okay.
I know, but I'm sure you want to know what happens.
All right.
Somewhat.
Okay.
Tell me you don't have a desire to know what happens.
Yeah, okay. I want to know what happened. Sure.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I want.
All right.
But yeah, and now I'm thinking about it
Oh,
more. It's not like the internet that we have today. Like I probably would not have been able to just like hop online and figure out why
oh
aren't they
no.
airing
No,
part
no,
two. It
no.
probably was
No.
a couple of days. So
No. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
July, 2 months.
What had happened?
I can't tell you.
You
It's
can't tell me because
I
you don't
mean,
remember? Or you can't
no,
tell
no,
me
no,
'cause
no, no, no.
oh.
Similar to Earshot. There are some violent
Oh.
events that do occur on these school grounds.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So yeah, that was rough.
Sorry you had to go through that, Sean.
It's okay. There are worse things that could happen.
You
So
you lived through it.
I did. I did.
Um, What is your rating for this episode, Sean?
4.5.
Wow.
I this is probably the finale I watched the most.
All right. I'll give this one
Yep.
3.5.
Okay. Favorite line?
When Xander said it, boy, it's a good thing nobody's ever wanted to check any of these books out.
That's good. Mine was, I know I just mentioned it a few minutes ago, but come on, guys. The suspense is killing Angel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Next, graduation day part 2.
Yep.
What's going to happen in graduation day part 2?
I am going to be very optimistic here. It's a long shot. It's a really long shot, but I'm going to be optimistic. I still hold out hope that Faith is going to see the error of her ways, and that she's not dead. Of course, she's not going to be dead yet.
I don't know. You were pretty convincing.
I know she won't be dead, to my annoyance. They will defeat the mayor because there's 4 more seasons, so obviously they must defeat the mayor. But how? Okay, so here's what I think. I think Faith is going to come back during graduation to help the mayor, but he's going to do something during the ascension or during or when he turns into this demon, and he's going to like betray her or something, and it's going to hit her really hard because he's been this father figure to her, and so she's going to feel abandoned and totally betrayed, and then she's going to figure out she should be helping the good guys, and she's going to help defeat him, the mayor. And then somehow they're going to figure out some loophole with that spell, and she's going to let Angel drink her blood or something. They'll figure it out and heal him.
Okay. What else? What about Buffy and Angel?
I think Angel's going to leave. Is this when? This must be when Angel leaves and goes and starts his own thing, his own show.
Right. Cordelia.
Cordelia. What? Cordelia is going to be Cordelia. She's going to graduate and she's going to, she's going to be smarmy.
Okay. All right. Any other prediction thoughts?
No.
All right. Okay. You want to tell them about the socials?
Yes, I would love to tell them about the socials. We are everywhere except for X and Snapchat as at the Sunnydale Diaries. We are on Blue Sky as Sunnydale Diaries. We have a website, which is thesunnydalediaries.com. And that's where you can find all of our episodes. You can find a downloadable 2025 Jenny calendar PDF file. You can find the rules to our 5x7x5 haiku contest. Oh, and you can find a way to get onto our Discord server. Thank you. We also... What else? What am I missing?
We have an email address.
Oh, yeah, we have an email address. That is right. It is thesunnydalediaries@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out if you want to be in touch with us. If you have any questions or comments, please do so. We are happy to hear from you. Please tell your friends and family and anybody who might be sitting next to you at the bus stop about our podcast. Please, if you can and would like to, leave us a review on your streaming platform of choice. We'd love to see that as well. And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's everything. All right. We'll be back next week for graduation day part 2.
See you then. Bye.